As you know, I have been tough on this government's reluctance to stand up for a return to normal. Not some sort of horrid new normal, but normality as we knew it in January 2020, banishing 18 months of draconian and dystopian horrors and embracing the estimation that over 90% of Brits now have COVID antibodies thanks to a mixture of vaccination and natural infection. But tonight, I am prepared to celebrate two positive signs coming from the two most important figures in government regarding our future management of coronavirus out of the Conservative Party conference. First, the Prime Minister is expected to use his speech tomorrow in Manchester to encourage or hopefully demand white-collar workers to return to their desks. He should be targeting the lazy civil servants, including those work-shy BBC staffers who seem to believe they can accept key workers going to their workplace every damn day while they sit in their underwear working half a day while hanging out the washing, taking the dog for a walk, watching loose women. You know, the drift. The Prime Minister gave a hint about his position during this interview this morning with Nick Ferrari.
You're going to learn on the job. You can't just do it on Zoom.
No,
you've got to be able to come in and sit at the. You've got to know what everybody else is talking about.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to be gossiped about.
Very true. He speaks a good point. But there's actually another more serious reason why office workers must return, rather than simply the disparity that comes from them thinking they're somehow better than a taxi driver or a supermarket worker. A return to the office is a key part of the ecosystem that makes our economy sing and supports keeping smaller businesses alive. And as I have been warning for many months, if bosses soon realise work can be conducted from a living room in Surrey, it's only a matter of time before a whole heap of those jobs start being redirected to far cheaper offshore offices in, say, India. The PM needs to get tough and set the right example tomorrow by ordering, demanding the civil service to return en masse to the office before our working culture is changed forever. Now, the second positive sign was the new Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, indicating he's not going to be following the lead of his dire predecessor, Matt Hancock, by being in lockstep with the doomsday scientists of SAGE when every decision is made. Asked at the Tory party conference by The Spectator's editor Fraser Nelson about the discredited SAGE projections that showed cases and hospitalisations would spiral after Freedom Day, remember that? This is what Javid replied, and it really is a change of government position. He said, "They're entitled to come to their own decisions, and I'm entitled not to listen to them. Had I listened, we certainly wouldn't have been meeting like this, having a conference, and people wouldn't be getting together with their friends and their families in what I think is a safe way. It's important that you listen and absorb it and then come to your decision. SAGE, or any group, as well-meaning as they are, it's not their job to make these decisions. We need to learn from this and make sure that whether it's future pandemics or just epidemics, that we all just find a better way to, as best we can, try and forecast the impact of certain decisions." Absolutely superb from Javid there. We need politicians who will stand up to the doomsday scientists who want to forever change our way of life. And there's one doomsday scientist in particular that needs to be ignored. A certain Neil Ferguson, who, can you believe this, already today projecting the enactment of this horrible Plan B, you know, lockdowns and social distancing and masks and all of that, despite the fact he's had every single projection completely wrong throughout this entire pandemic. Some reason the mainstream media keep listening to him, and here's what he had to say today.
Compare, for instance, incidence of COVID, cases per day in France, Germany, most, Spain, Italy and Portugal. They're at a much lower level than those, so they can afford to see something of a surge of transmission, which they may well, without unduly stressing the health system. We are much closer to the limit of what the NHS can cope with. And I mean, we'll come on to Plan B. I think that is what is exercising, Whitehall and policymakers is that limited headroom.
Here we go again, folks. So let me tell you, Sajid Javid's big test is going to come over December and January. That's the time when every year respiratory illnesses spiral and put the NHS under pressure, sometimes intense pressure. But we must not listen to Professor Lockdown and roll over. Not now, not ever. And now the woke mob, who embrace cancel culture with a vengeance, are coming for children's books. A character called Brian Wong, who was never ever wrong from David Walliams' book The World's Worst Children, has been erased. It comes after criticism from the writer and podcaster Georgie Ma earlier this year, who said that character was an example of casual racism. How disappointing HarperCollins have taken this spurious complaint to heart. They confirmed in a statement today, in consultation with our author and illustrator, we can confirm that a new story will be written to replace Brian Wong in future editions of The World's Worst Children. The update will be scheduled at the next reprint as part of an ongoing commitment to regularly reviewing content. What nonsense. A funny rhyme does not equal racism. Was there any consequence behind Labour's Deputy Leader Angela Rayner branding Tories scum last week?
We cannot get any worse than a bunch of scum, homophobic, racist, misogynistic, absolute vile, banana republic, vile, nasty, Etonian, privileged piece of scum.
Well, that sort of language has now, not surprisingly, been transported to the Tory conference, with Ian Duncan Smith attacked with a traffic cone last night. Moments after the attack, this happened. Yep, he's been taunted with, you guessed it, the word scum. Now, IDS didn't care. He described his alleged assaulters as incoherent morons. But that's not the point, is it? If this were a bunch of right-wing activists targeting senior Labour politicians at their conference, it's all you would have heard about in the media. Well done, Angela Rayner. You've really helped improve the tone of national conversation. Not. Welcome to the GB News YouTube channel. You can watch us live 24 hours a day, catch up on your favourite shows, and join in the conversation in the comments below.
Don't forget to subscribe and you'll never miss any of our exclusive content.